Times, and we're on the Mobilizing search panel right now, and I'd like to introduce the panelists for you. To my immediate left is Zothet, co-founder and CEO of 4Info, a company that sends you a lot of different pieces of information on your cell phone if you want it. Just sign up on the web, hook into it through your cell phone, and you'll get some of the things you need. I find out every day whether my Detroit Tigers have won or lost. Next to him, Darcy DeFreitas, product manager for live search for mobile at Microsoft. Basically MSN on the cell phone, and we're all familiar with MSN. Doug Leeds is next, vice president of product management at the butlerless Ask.com, which has undergone a few changes since Jeeves left the program a year and a half ago. And finally, Michael Libis, who likes to go by Looney. Very good. Co-founder, chief architect of Media Systems, which is a sort of white label company, search company for the cell phone carriers. And when you pick up some of your phones like T-Mobile, you'll be seeing that their search function is actually, well, I don't know if you'll actually see it on the cell phone, but Medio is the one that's providing it for them. They'll get in a little bit more, I'm sure, on what they're doing as we go through some questions here. And I guess the first thing I'd like to do, I mean, everyone certainly is familiar with search on the computer. Zal, let's start with you if we can. What are some of the challenges you see for mobile search?
Thanks, Jim. So I think a couple of the major challenges I think are the ones that are most obvious are obviously the form factor of a phone, so the screen size, the network speed, and the different types of search that you can do. So to us at 4Info, and I think to most of the panelists that are up here, web search is very different from mobile search. People are looking for answers. They're not necessarily looking for links. You can have a client, a very rich experience, but you're only going to touch less than 10% of users at best. You can create a browsing experience on WAP, and you're going to touch a slightly higher percentage, or you can create an experience over SMS or text messaging and touch the largest group of people. But again, you don't get the same rich media. So I think that's the biggest challenge that faces us today in mobile for any company that's out there is what form factor do you build for? What type of device do you build for? Do you build for WAP? Do you build for client? Do you build for SMS? And I think if you look at the folks that are up here, there's a wide spectrum. We're SMS, and that's our primary focus, and I think the rest of these guys are not as much focused on text messaging. So I'll start with that.
Very good.
Yeah, there's one more piece that's quite important. As compared to the web, we have an extra player in the ecosystem in mobile. We call them the operator. In this country, we call them the carrier, and they own the customers. And so in my company, we work with the operators to get to their customers. Some of the other people here do their best to work around the operators, but they're there. Whether we want them or not, they play a role in this ecosystem. Okay.
Darcy, you come into it in a way with Google and Yahoo already pretty big, and of course MSN is very well known as well. Do they become a challenge for you in trying to break into the mobile search field?
So I would say yes, but also no. So I think certainly Google and Yahoo is, having had a head start in the search area, and Microsoft, having invested later and being in the process of improving the algorithm, improving the brand awareness and the experience and all of those pieces. Certainly that brand awareness and loyalty translates to some extent into the mobile arena. However, so that's the yes. The no part would be, as Looney, right? Yeah. As Looney mentioned, in the mobile world, there's very strong pieces of the value chain in both with the operators, the mobile carriers, and with the OEMs. And trying to package an easy-to-use experience is even more important in the mobile devices than the PC. And because those companies own such a big part of the access to consumers, working with them is a major way